Let me see if I could break this down real quick. Soulmates and twin flames. Soulmates. That's astrological. Y'all come from the same constellation. Really brothers and sisters. Also lovers. You know, that's the science of those two. We have many soulmates. But twin flames. Twin flames is a soul. When it was originally back at the source, at the unified field, or what we call the ether level, where everything is one. But in the one, it has consciousness to separate itself like a subatomical particle in that big water right here. Just one subatomical particle, but the whole thing is one big mind. There's a wave back and forth. That's the mind as a thing. So make these different frequencies. But one of those subatomical particles could separate on its own and come out. So when it comes out now, it decides it want to go take a journey down to the lower domain. It has to polarize itself because it's, the water itself is a feminine principle. Look at the water itself as the female and the air itself as the male, like on a battery. Everything in life has a polarity of two things that makes the opposite to make the one. So for air to exist, it has to have another force interacting with it to make that exist. In this case, it's the water. For the water to exist, the water, the earth and the air has to be with it. So anyways, back to the real thing, what I'm saying. So the polarity now of it makes it the soul a hermaphrodite, neither male or female. So it's what's classified God. You know what I'm saying? So because it's perfect. But now it has to separate to come down into this atmosphere, whatever. So for it to do that now, it has to separate, and male and female, positive, negative. You understand? With the positive being the male and the negative being the female. She become matter for him though. She sacrificed herself and he imposed into her. And that's how now it comes down through the spheres on a whole different frequency from we could detect. And it comes through first Saturn. And that's where in Saturn it learns prudence, which is how to stand up for right and wrong. And after that it goes down to Jupiter. From Jupiter, it learns to have emotions. It gets emotions from the water because Jupiter is the water planet. From there, it comes on down now to, I guess, Uranus, where it learns balance, you know what I'm saying, as its choice. Then you got Mars, where it learns how to war and fight. Then you got Venus, where it learns love. Then you got Mercury, where it learns intelligence. Then it comes through the moon for its imagination. Then it goes to the womb and you're created. Seriously, that's how it works, just like that. That's where we get zodiac signs and everything from. So they're able to track out and course you. That's why you got to leave your lower animal self and ascend so you're not predictable like a zodiac sign. Then you will fall for the true whole another thing. I don't even remember the name of it. I'm not going to get into it. I just want y'all to understand that part. So when you going backwards now, you have to give everything back alive. See, they didn't ever tell you that for you to even leave this atmosphere or even leave your bubble, you have to do it alive. That's a whole nother science of mysticism and the Egyptian art, because that's what they left the Book of the Dead and everything for. Not just the fact of how to die and how to live. They're telling you you have to leave out your body through your crown chakra and go through the sun, and then you exit into the astral world. And if you don't do that, you can't make it. And you have to go through what's called the Tuat, which is a bunch of demons. The 72 demons of the Gotia of Solomon, the key of Solomon, is 100% real and have to do with you. It's locked in your subconscious. These things is there, and they're the ones that will attack you. For most people, it's what give people schizophrenia and a whole bunch of other diseases or sicknesses that they can't understand that they're seeing as far as mental wise, because the 72 Gotia is actually live beings that's inside of you, outside of you too, and we interact with them. So once you know these 72 Gotias exist, it's like you go through what's called the Hall of Amentet, where you're being judged by them, and you have to be able to know the 42 laws of Maat to be able to pass through each level, because each level is crazy. It works with your mind. Whatever your mind thinks, that's what it's going to project. And it's the same way in this reality too. Our reality is not what they make it out to be. It's what you make of it. That's why you have to make your reality your way. It's what your mind see. What they do is try to induce your mind to see what they want you to see. You have to override that to back when you was a child and how you imagine life. Make that your life, because it's nobody gonna penetrate. It could be your neighbor's house that's on fire. You're protected. You're in your own magnetic field bubble. You understand? You go out and interact with them if you feel it's conducive towards your field. If it's not, leave it alone, because it could be from somebody else's star style family, or it could be somebody else's karma, and you get involved and make yourself your own karma. Never pick up somebody else's karma. Always use the wisdom of Solomon. But yeah, the Gotia of Solomon have a lot to do with it, and it plays a very part. It's part of the subconscious mind, and we will have to experience it. The subconscious mind is this: everything outside of you, you're living in it. You know, this is not the real world. The real world is the astral world. Right before you hit Saturn, you come from what's called the astral plane, which is another frequency that is right here in front of you. Not just this world is here, it's many dimensions right in front of you interacting with you, make up this thing called air. Same thing with water. That's why I say y'all know what water is or electricity is. These is other people's worlds that they're, you know, in, and we're just harnessing the energy from it and thinking it's this, but it's literally beings, and they've been interacting with us, but they can't get to us because of our magnetic field. You look at it like, you know, water could go through paper, but it can't go through a rock. You know, a rock could go in water, but air can't go through a rock. So everything has got a little law to it that makes everything interact with each other, including us. That's what our pores and everything receives. That's why my whole point to when you're in that lead box under the ground, you don't exist. You cease to be able to think. You cease to be able to do. So when you're out here like me, and get these things off of me, and why is this happening to me? The ancients used to just allow the universe to flow through them. It's a lot of frequencies, a lot of tolerance, but you're a grown person. You're not a little kid. You're a god, and you have to learn to do what gods do. One day you're going to be the star. One day you're going to be the wind. One day you're going to be the water. Maybe you choose not to, but the choice is yours. But you got these options coming up when you get ready to ascend. Hopefully you learn from this and start learning to ascend now. Don't die. If you die before you ascend or try to acquire your soul, you recycle. You go from death. When you leave, and you're going to see the light. You go towards the light, you're going to come back here, and you stay in the clouds for a little while these entities scare you the fuck to death. Those is worlds up in there. I'm telling you, one subatomic particle in that cloud is a whole mad dimension. So you're looking at a big ass cloud. You don't imagine how big those worlds is. You also, just to let you know, that's where a lot of people, relatives and peoples is at, waiting for them to reincarnate, to come back down, being recycled between atmosphere, between water, back to the moisture, and then back to the cloud. That's how it's going for everybody. Until you learn how to ascend out of your crown chakra, out the atmosphere, and out the sun, then you will do it. And you're facing a lot of demons, spirits, dragons, a whole bunch of stuff. And I can't tell y'all what to do or what happens in there, but I'm giving y'all a heads up what's going on. Don't think you just die and you just lay there, la 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 la, and that's it. Nah. The reason why is that is because the soul vibrates faster than the physical body. The physical body is like a contaminated shell. It's full of germs, bacteria, all these shits you acquired from growing up. Mad mental stress and your cultural ways. You have a culture. You literally put on clothes that they say is from Africa, and you believe you're from a continent that is from there. Just because you was born there, but you stuck in your material self, you can't see beyond that to redefine yourself. So you just associate yourself to a piece of land and say that's you, and you wear the same clothes that everybody else do, and you don't like people who don't wear the same kind of clothes like you because that's not your culture. That's all bullshit. That's people who put that in your head. None of that is real. None of that could be defined. You're a soul, man, and you just came by coincidence to a certain location by the parents you chose for that experience. But you can't get there all of a sudden. You're a god. You're gonna get there and talking about you're African, or you're a European, or you're a Jamaican, or you ain't none of them shits. All them words just got made. You've been here before those words got made. Stop falling for that social ideology, psychology shit, man. You'll never be able to define the true you if you keep looking for your definition off the internet. or in a book, or from who you see next to you. Just because y'all the same color don't mean you're the same species. A lot of us is enemies. Before we fix ourselves as a nation, we got to fix ourselves on the individual self first and find ourselves. Then you would know how to navigate the rest. You understand what I'm saying? So that's very important to know that, because if you don't do that, you be trying to help people who you can't help because they're not of your species. They're not on your level. They're not for that. That was only meant for you and certain people. Coincidences will bring you to who you're supposed to be with. You just don't pick who you want to be. And that's not how it works. So I just want you to get a good understanding really of how things work. Let me do this meditation on this cloud behind me. That should look kind of familiar. Hold on. Alright. Anyways. Yeah, so I just want y'all to understand what's going on. Did I forget anything? Yeah, I did. Okay, I was gonna say the soul thing, right? So y'all understand how the soul shit work. Basically, the soul is that, your soul, it vibrates at a faster frequency because it works at a different vibration, and so your body vibrates slower, it's denser. These two cannot come together because it's kind of corrupt. Your body got a whole bunch of bad stuff on it from all your growing up, and so the soul is pure. What happened is you have these people right here, you see these cloud things right here, whatever. These is actually the mediators between your soul and your physical body. They come and does the cleansing, and they make a connection like fiber optic cable so your soul could come out. It really coming out, but it has to come out and come over you. And once it does that, now then they exit or whatever, and that's when you see the pictures of, in the Egyptian pictures, them standing on top of the alligator, or any picture you see from the medieval time with people on top sitting on dragons and all that stuff. That's these things right here, and inside of them you will see that entity or whatever that represent that part of your body. You can't get rid of them. They here. They've been here. They made you. That's who your parents is. You come from the elements. These is what's called elementals. You got different earth spirits, water spirit, fire spirit, and air spirits. All of them is here to do a job assigned by the original matrix schematics to, give the frequencies of nutrients to whatever is here so that everything could get its proper nutrients. So really that's what this purpose is, but they're called elementals. Now they're also, in a way, fairies, demons. You got to realize demons is here, and black people come from the demon realm. If you go back to the primordial period, it was only one time, only demons on this earth. Demons is the original people of the earth, and they was dark black beings that shapeshift, and that's who we are. You gotta go read some what's his name? Lovecraft, some of his books. He's a real occult esoteric that had the knowledge of all the stuff, that down to details of their language, everything of how they look, because all this is hidden. And they give him the little books and show him the truth, and then he makes these fairy tales that we know it's not a fairy tale. Well, he knows the history of the black people really with those demon stuff, and that's where you see us in the Egyptian era still representing it, and that's why you see they got the language called the demotic or whatever, but it's still demon, because originally after Mesopotamia, or what we call Babylon, they had to cut everything off because it goes to demons now, black people and demons. They don't want you to know that, so they stop everything right at the cusp of when demons ended. Demons ended when you're looking at now, they hiding Nimrod, Ham, all this other stuff. These is literally the grandkids of the Nephilim that physically still wasn't looking human, but black, blue black beings with extra fingers, maybe an extra foot and all this other shit that came out to be the wise man, or what's called the magi, that left all the books that we, the hybrids, had to use to get knowledge, because we unconscious, we not conscious like they was. They come from another dimension, and we ourselves, we are a mix between the Neanderthals, the Cro-Mangos, and those species that came before us, and then they added on to us with the alien DNA, the DNA of the Anunnakis and all that, and the DNA of some new entities that came out called the dark matter beings that gave us the melanin. And that's who we are now. These is different. We're different. So now we got this thing where we have to get upgrades. They don't do it like them beings was too smart, too cunning. You understand? So they downgraded them and took out a little bit out of it, which was their psychic abilities, and that's what is repressed in us now. But we're being able to step up now because the speed in the universe itself is speeding up, because we're moving away as far as the light. The light is moving up, but too much people is now in ignorance and like their lower self, and so we're going down in consciousness, and the lower side of the consciousness is winning. So the earth is not moving up, it's moving down, which is going to make it calcify and eventually implode on itself. So we have to step it up and catch the information, the knowledge, and get the wisdom and step ourselves up. That's not, we ain't going to understand ourselves and get caught up in all this rapture that's going on. It's just a rapture meaning a bunch of bullshit. It's too much talking and not enough action. Anyways, you need all three though, because once you connect those entities that's in the middle, the dragons, and they all animals. If you look at any Egyptian, old Sumerian, you see the animals, the lions, that's the clouds. If you won't believe me, go look at the Nazca lines. They showing you each one. That got to do with your body. It goes back to your body, and they're right over there waiting for you to ascend, like we're waiting for you. What's good? But you can't take the energy, you can't take all that with that possession. All y'all people out there that is on some old narcissistic controller shit, clean, extra clean and all that, you got to remember, for you to not get the flu, you have to have the flu shot. So if you don't have the disease on you, you get fucked up, you're going to get sick. So understand that when you're doing your extra clean shit, make sure you know what the fuck you're doing, because you could be fucking yourself up more than helping yourself, you know? And also, I just want to say, a lot of people on that no salt shit, you got to be careful. Salt is necessary. Your body is 70-something% salt. Your body contains like around 4 of them salt shaker jars worth of salt, and you need it. When you go to the hospital in an emergency room, what's the first thing they give you? Salt and water. You need salt. Salt is what connects your psychic abilities. If you didn't have salt, you won't have no psychic abilities. Go back and research what real salt do. The real salt, not sodium. Salt, sodium, not sodium chloride. Sodium. All right? Sodium follows water. Wherever sodium is at, water is. So if you don't have sodium in your body, you get dehydrated. Your skin turns to big squares and hexagon shaped, dry honeybee shape that you can scratch like a lizard, because you need salt. Salt will retain water, keep you moist. Okay, now to finish off, the last part of it is the spirit. The spirit resonates faster than the soul. So you need the spirit now last, which cannot connect to the soul because the soul resonates too slow. So then there's some other beings, higher beings, that come as the mediator between the spirit and the soul. All of these you need to connect just to connect to yourself, because you're a spirit. You understand? But you can't be in your defiled body because it was sent down here to experience and learn. It's not clean and good, but it'll get you the job done. But don't think you're the body. You're a whole separate being, a whole separate entity, and you operate within it, and you have the right to leave it at any time. If this place blow up and get destroyed, a bomb come, you can astral project out yourself and nothing won't happen to you, and you won't be caught up out of hystericalness and go into shock and implode into what's called the underworld, where you're going to get the shit freaked out of you there if you go there. So try practicing meditation now, astral projecting. That's what souls do. They don't stay in bodies. You're just there to visit it and use it. Learn to leave it, because when trouble comes, you're going to be stuck. One love.